We don't have any members of the public present, so I won't go through the full spiel, but just remember, please, that this is being webcast, and you could be on camera at any time. So be careful. What I want to do is to welcome Mike Jeremiah to his first meeting of the Planning Committee. Welcome, Mike. Mike has been trained yesterday, I believe, so that's excellent. And also to welcome back Pam Cameron, and hope we see you more regularly in the future now that evidently you are getting back to health. At least we're pleased to see you. So, apologies, Rachel, please.
Yeah, we have apologies from Councillors Stuart Evans, Alan Fraser and Phil Seaborn.
Any other apologies? I think probably we're otherwise full house, aren't we? Anyway, declarations of interest. Tim?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Following declarations I'm aware of, members. Councillor Barry Taylor, item 4 on the agenda, the planning application relating to the Cumfredor Primary School. I believe you wish to declare a personal only interest on the following grounds. Firstly, as a governor, and secondly, because you're a member of the Community Council who were consulted. Is that correct, Councillor Taylor?
That is correct.
Thank you. And then the same application, Councillor Tomlinson, again a personal only interest, I understand, on 2 grounds. Firstly, because you have a relative who attends that school, and secondly, because you're also a member of the Community Council who were consulted. Is that correct? Yes. Thank you, Councillor Tomlinson. And then Councillor Parish, same application again, personal only interest as a member of Pontypool Community Council who were consultees. Is that correct, Councillor Parish?
That is correct.
Thank you, members. Can I remind you all that, as well as the declarations you make now, you should be noting them in the attendance register as well, which you can do, no doubt, at the end of the meeting. I'm not aware of any other declarations, Chair. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Let's then move on then to minutes of the Planning Committee of the 14th of June. Run through those page by page for accuracy for us, please. I'm going to start with page 3 because that's what comes up on my computer. So page 3. Page 4. 5. 6. And 7. Councillor Taylor?
Chair, sorry to, on page 5, 4, 6, comments, 6.4, sorry, comments on the Coal Authority and ask for more clarification. Is that going to be forthcoming at this meeting, or will it be sent at another meeting?
I don't think we were, what the point that we were making there is that there'd been discussions with the Coal Authority and they were satisfied with what was being proposed. I don't think there's any aspect of clarifying that. The only issue of clarification was the traffic calming, and we wrote to the Highways Authority about that, but not the Coal Authority.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else arising from the minutes? You all happy there? A true record?
Move that.
That's moved and seconded and agreed. Thank you very much. So we'll move on to we'll move on to the Welsh version, and then item 4, which is the creation of a new private car park, extension of existing play area, ground remediation works, a new drop-off area adjacent to Windy Road, in relation to Cumfredor Primary School. I should make it clear that dealing with this particular application does not in any way impinge upon the process which is being carried forward by Cabinet, potentially by Council, and indeed by those with a legal interest in this matter, i.e. that there is no obligation that this particular application will in any way, I'm saying this all wrong, I think, and I perhaps ought to ask Tim to explain that better than I am.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, just to clarify for members that obviously the decision that's before you this afternoon on this planning application is in discharge of the Council's regulatory function as a planning committee, and it doesn't have any bearing on the other process which is going on quite separately, and which is the process the Chair has alluded to through Cabinet and ultimately Council. So you're purely looking at this as a planning matter, and you can confine your thoughts, if you like, purely to the planning grounds and dealing with it as a regulatory matter on that basis. Thank you.
Okay, happy with that. Thank you, Tim. So, Norman, can you take us through the slides, please?
Thank you, Chair. This is an application for a new private car park within the school, an extension of the existing play area, ground remediation works within the confines of the school, and a new drop-off area in Wynthea Road along the area, elongated area there. As you see, we did have a site visit back in January. However, that was in relation to an application which was subsequently withdrawn and included the extension to the school. However, due to issues in relation to the ground stability and ecology, that was withdrawn, and this subsequent application, which only deals with these limited matters, was submitted. There's a situation in terms of the car park within the site, within the school, and then down below, that's the area that of just behind the school where the play area will be extended into, and the car park that is being proposed into that area. And these are photographs up and down Wynthea Road showing the existing on-street parking, and I'll just show you plans in a minute which show parking bays to be created along Wynthea Road into the open space there. As you can see, the extended parking area is shown within the school. Then in relation to the play area, that's shown to be extended also. And these are the parking spaces to be created along Wynthea Road, which will be obviously available for residents and those parents picking up and dropping off. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, any questions for Norman? Any comments, please? Councillor Parish.
Yes, in the report there aren't as many parking places as originally intended. I know Highway says it isn't a problem, but is that going to be adequate?
Thank you, Councillor Parish. When you consider that currently this school operates without any of this facility whatsoever, my view was that what they proposed initially was very good, and what they are proposing now with just a few spaces less is still very good, to be honest. So I was satisfied with the reduction in parking provision. It's not a lot, so yeah, thank you.
Councillor Taylor.
I heard what the officer said, but in the original report, it did say more car parking spaces. And I am very sorry, but in this day and age where, you know, children don't walk to school, they are being taken by car, and the roads up around there are valley roads, I think we should remain with the same amount of car parking spaces that was originally put in.
Can we be clear about how many there were going to be and how many that's reduced to? Barry, do you know?
No, sorry, I'm not sure. I thought we were cutting them down. If we are putting more in, I'll congratulate you. If you were cutting them down, I'd say no.
Chair, if I could clarify that. I think it was to allow... Oh, sorry. Cutting down of the parking spaces allowed for better access to the steps to take you down to the lower level. So it wasn't that we reduced them because we wanted to reduce them, it was to make it easier for pedestrians to get to the site as well. So there was perfectly good reason why they were reduced. And I think, if I remember off the top of my head, it was probably 2 spaces. So if you take, we've got 26 spaces there, to reduce them to 24, 29 to reduce them, it's not significant, and it's not something that I would say, to be honest, would break the back of this scheme. It was, as far as I was I've got to give you my view, and I felt that this was a real good provision, and when it was reduced, it didn't cause me concern. I'd rather have kept the 2, but I also recognise that we need to provide for pedestrians, and it was a better scheme than providing for those pedestrians. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Ashley.
Yeah, how accessible is this by you've mentioned foot and other methods not involving vehicles, i.e. public transport, bicycle and walking, because obviously that is a criteria we're in active travel ways, because obviously by the sound of it you've looked at this quite extensively, because when I went up there, and it was admittedly a rather cold day, we didn't. What was the provision for getting up there? Because we obviously all went up there in vehicles and didn't walk in.
This is a difficult site to access by bike. It's on a hill. You come up Chapel Road, Chapel Lane. You've got, if you look at the site itself in Waindy, the existing road network and footpath network there is particularly good. It's a 5.5 metre wide normal standard width road, normal standard width footway. They can share the road with vehicles, and that is done in a lot of places. But there is no specific dedicated cycle route provision to this school from the National Cycle Network, and it would be extremely difficult probably to do it as well. Thank you.
Councillor Taylor.
Should we have also looked at parking facilities for buses? Because, you know, if there's going to be more buses up around there, have that been taken into consideration?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Taylor. I appreciate that, you know, we tried to get as much as we can on a particular site, and it would be good to get that if we possibly could. But I think we'd all probably recognise that a lot of these schools within Torfaen are located in areas where it's extremely difficult to get buses. You know, with all the best will in the world, we try to accommodate as much as we can and get as many improvements that we possibly can when we've got a planning application before us, and we do work closely with our colleagues in other departments to try and get as much as we can from a highway standpoint. It's very difficult to get as much as I would want, because there are other issues relating to education and their needs for the school. So it's always a balance. And while Councillor Taylor, I can say we do try to get as much as we possibly can, in some instances there are things that we cannot get. Thank you.
Councillor Jeremiah.
Thank you, Chair. How many buses is going up there at the moment, at this moment in time, before the new car park starts? I don't think there's many, is there?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest, but I can clarify it for you again at another time. The issue is, primarily, is that the buses come close to the school, and I don't think they do at the moment. But that's something I'll have to clarify for you.
Does any of the local member have any information on that, or
well,
possibly?
I can say that Stagecoach goes up there once every hour, but private transport, I have no idea, Brian.
So once every hour for Stagecoach, right? Okay, that's probably the best answer we're going to get, Councillor Jerry. Any other questions?
I'll move the officer's recommendation, Chair, subject to conditions.
Okay, that's moved. Anybody? Councillor Waite, are you prepared to second that? Anybody wish to debate it further?
Yes, please.
Councillor Taylor?
Really, I wanted to debate really the full report, because some of the readings in this report I find very disturbing. And I will start off, Chair.
Hang on a second, Councillor Taylor. The motion has been moved and seconded. I need the approval of the mover of the motion and the seconder to allow you to talk before we admit any further debate. So, you happy?
Yeah, as long as it don't go too long, Chair, because I've already moved it.
Okay. Okay, Councillor Taylor.
Right. As I say, reading this report and knowing a little bit about the school, because I am a governor on the school, and I have been accused, really, of playing one or two schools together over this reorganisation. But I can assure you I am not trying to play one school against the other. I am concerned because a number of years ago, after the school was built, there became a hole which appeared in the school. This was classed as a sinkhole. Now, when I became a governor of this school, I did ask for a report on what was done regarding this so-called sinkhole, and nothing has come forward. Now, 2 years ago, another hole appeared in the school, which I understand was water. Now, I know that there's been a lot of investigations done up there, as it states in this report. But there are some of the items in this report which I feel, if you go to page 20, bottom of page 20, what has been interpreted as a possible mine shaft. While I have no detailed information on this feature, I understand that it could be located within the footprint of the possible future building extensions. Now, when they were doing investigations up there, the headmistress asked me would I go up and see and speak to some of them. I had a phone call off an officer who didn't think it appropriate for me to be going up there. But as I say, my main concern is the safety of the school, the teachers, and especially the children. You know, I see all the recommendations in this report, and, you know, there are experts out there, and experts will tell you what they want to tell you. But then if something goes wrong, you never get answers. So all I am saying from this is, you know, I see all the recommendations. I have, at this moment in time, can't challenge them all, but I just hope that this council, building these extensions, get it right. And as I say, my honest concerns are the teachers and the children, because if they do things and in 2 or 3 years' time something happens that another hole appears, you know, I am going to say, I told you so. So that's all I'm going to say, and I hope that we get all this right and we can have the right. They can say what they want to on you, but I just hope that everything is right. Thank you.
Yeah. Can I just make the point that you referred there, Councillor Taylor, to the extension of the school, which we're not considering today as such, of the school building. But yeah, I take your concern about the safety very seriously, but I would suggest that the report takes that very seriously as well, and the number of conditions in the report which apply to this application, should it be approved, to ensure that work is carried out in order to minimise any risk to anybody, be they teachers, other staff, parents or pupils indeed. So I am reassured personally by those conditions, and of course the mover of the motion made it clear also, I think, that the proposal should be approved subject to the conditions being implemented. So that's what we're looking at. I take your point that we need to be vigilant to make sure those conditions are applied, but I think we can rely on our officers to do that before this is taken to the appropriate point at which there would be any risk to children or anyone else. You happy with that?
Yeah.
Good. Anybody else? No? Okay, we go back to the motion then, moved by Councillor Burnett and seconded by Councillor Wade, which is to approve the report and the recommendations subject to the conditions being fulfilled as described in the report. All those in favour, please show. Okay, all those against, please show. All amendments, please show. There must have been at least one amendment, Councillor Tomlinson, because I didn't see a hand anywhere. So that's one abstention, the rest are in favour of the proposal. Fine, that's at the end of item 4. The next meeting, help me here, is something like the 16th of August, is it? Yeah, just let me try and confirm that for you. Yes, it is the 16th of August. Yeah, jolly good. Okay, thanks very much. Meeting closed.